We're back. The Three Stooges have returned, and we better explain our situation here. I'm Dale Kuyath with the Sports Scoop, and my fellow Stooges, Joel Hayford, head softball coach at Waseca, Ted Hammond, head boys basketball coach at JWP, and our little experiment with Waseca E-News has failed, but Steve Andy Anderson has graciously invited us into his studio in his basement. And Maceo.
The Husky.
And we are now going to try to get together each week and record in Andy's room. So those of you that enjoyed our show and want to watch it, you tune us in on www.thesportscoop.com, and you can watch the Three Stooges in action each and every week. Ted,
yes.
Starting with you, and I've heard two things about you since we disbanded.
One divorced.
One, you have a new garage floor.
Oh, jeez. Go ahead.
And two, which puts a smile on my face because I've taken heat for this for 2 years, but I understand you had a little moped wipe out.
Yeah. 21 years I've ridden that moped. Never had an accident. Going over to the movie gallery the other night, avoided a pothole, hit the gravel that used to be in a pothole, and I took a flyer. And that now the moped is now Andy Miller's, American Family Insurance. I told it out, and I'll never step foot on a moped ever again. Hit the same ribs I broke a couple of years ago, and thank God for Al Kingsley and his wife Dana. They came along and they found me, and they nursed me back to health and got me home.
Man.
And now you know the rest of the story.
And because of that, you had to put a new garage floor in.
No,
I came by a couple days, and that operation was in full force.
I got tired of sleeping in the garage, so I got a new floor. So. Yeah, it was quite a project. We had a wall that bowed out, and so they said that, I got all these contractors in. They all said I need a new wall for about $10,000, and so I got another guy that came in and said that your garage floor is pushing down on your wall. It made sense to me, so we put a new garage floor and put in some more brick, and good to go for half the price.
And yeah, I was going to say, and he was $5,000. You were going with that one.
Yep, I like that guy.
And hey, if things are normal for you, you're just turning out another winning softball season.
Back at it, winding up the regular season here. Girls have had a great regular season, 14-4. 2 losses to New Ulm, who won that conference outright this year. Last year we were able to share it with them, but this year they were just a little bit tough on us. Had them on the ropes in one game, but just couldn't hang on. Lost to Maple River and then Mankato West, so some pretty good teams that we lost to. Had some thrillers with St. Peter, 2 extra inning games against St. Peter in the conference, so we're able to capture the South Central Conference outright for second place. And great regular season, but now you put that all away as we upcoming playoffs, and we'll play the Center Cleveland Coyotes here coming up, and they've got a nice pitcher, and when you've got good pitching like we have, anything can happen. And mopeds, you had a moped accident yourself, so
yeah, that's what I say.
My 2 brothers here, the Stooges, are I will not get on an moped, so don't worry. I will not have an accident and take a dent out of my head like Coogie did.
Yeah, like I say, not that I was
houses.
happy to hear that Ted wiped out, but I still have a scab on top of my head and been catching grief for it 2 years later, so maybe some of it will slide to your shoulders now.
Well, no, it won't. It's just gone.
Well,
pull it out.
That's
made good money on it
Never
too.
again.
So,
I bet your brother Pat will probably come up with a deal and talk you into another one.
Yeah.
Well, you 2 knuckleheads keep riding your mopeds. I'm going to stay off them.
Well, as we intend to do each and every week, our main focus is normally the high school sports scene in the area, and we also tinker a little with the Twins, the Gophers, the Vikings, whatever else we think. But let's start the high school scene, seeing this is we're near the end of this high school season, and this is our first show basically. So let's take a look at the area baseball teams, and it's been a tough year for the 4 teams that we cover in this area baseball wise. The Blue Jays have just 4 wins. JWP has just 3 wins, but that's an improvement for them. NRHEG and Jeff Reese, who just turns out winning season after winning season, has 3 wins. And I think Waterville may be the closest to a winning team. They are right around the 500 mark. So what have you guys seen in the high school baseball scene? And I've seen lots of mistakes.
Well, there's fielding and pitching, and I mean, it's just unbelievable how the skill level has dropped off over the years, especially when you have the youth programs that we think are doing so well. You just need to see kids out on the playgrounds just playing ball without any interference from adults, and just play, work off, play Indian, whatever you used to play in the old days. And I think just go back to kids being kids. But on a bright note, JWP did stop their winless streak in the conference. I think it was at 4 years, and
Yeah.
they went 2 games back to back, which that bodes well for them. And then they're looking about putting a Legion
Summer
team
Legion
in,
program,
and that'll really help them. They get something going
Yeah.
there. So bodes well for the future of JWP.
Yeah.
The baseball, softball season, that's a couple sports I think you really have to play in the summer because
Iowa.
the high school season is so short and the warm weather comes and you can play every day. I think that's where you see a lot of improvement if kids will play their sport
And
in
in Iowa,
the summertime.
they do that with
Yeah,
the high
summer
school
baseball,
They
yeah.
play the regular ball in
Yeah.
the summertime.
It flies by, and you talk about the skills. One nice thing, kids don't like it, and after a while it gets pretty boring for us coaches, that we do end up inside early quite a bit to work on a lot of fundamentals, and I think the Minnesota kids do end up with a pretty good fundamental base. But it all gets back to what Ted was mentioning. When you're a young kid, you need to get out there and play. I remember when I was, knee-high to a grasshopper, Mom would be out there pitching to us, and she pitched to us until she took a liner off the shin, and then we graduated to some other people. But,
Bet that was you that hit it too,
no,
wasn't it?
no, it was Bruce Winters. He did it, and we used to play by the old LeSueur Hospital, and pretty soon as we got older, pretty soon we were one bouncing into the hospital, so we had to move to a different field.
I thought you'd be going in the hospital because you'd heard
Yeah,
about that, right?
but
That's smart thinking.
Mom was a trooper, right? You go back seriously, parents pitching to their kids and playing, and getting out there and throwing. A lot of kids just can't throw a ball nowadays.
No.
Shoot, we'd be throwing tomatoes at cars and everything to develop those arms, and just because we did.
We did
Besides
snowballs.
playing, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen so many things this year that
Defies description.
yeah, and that we just took for granted that and I guess you can't do that anymore. I went down last night to Waseca USC baseball game. I saw a runner on second base, a fly ball hit to 340 feet to right center, and the runner's dancing halfway off a second, He could have walked into third, the next guy hit a grounder to the right side that would have tied the game. I saw 2 Waseca kids get picked off base on a walk when the pitcher stepped back off the mound. They jumped forward and they were dead. I've seen, you just see things that, when we played, I think you learned them playing out in the backyard. And now it seems that the common baseball knowledge, softball knowledge is not there.
Well, I think also kids, and I'm probably a little blinded because I come from my perspective, is that I watched a lot of baseball too when I was younger. Not only if I wasn't playing, I was either watching a game on TV, running up to the mat, just watching the game, and you learn a lot that way also.
You bet.
I listen to radio quite a bit. Same thing.
Yeah.
Pick up a lot of things on radio.
The Blue Jays are just having a 4-win season. They're
You've seen
playing
more than we have.
They're playing a lot of sophomores, working them in, so they don't have a strong senior class. They draw Mankato East the first round of the tournament, and I believe that's Thursday.
Yep, and East just beat West yesterday. We're filming
In
this
their
Saturday
tournament,
morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
7-6 come from behind win
Yep.
for East.
so it doesn't bode well for the Blue Jays in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for any of the 4 teams to win one game at tournament time.
Yep. But like
Still
you
got
said,
those athletes in Waterville though. Those
Yep.
the only way they go football, basketball, and then some of them win baseball. Some go track, some don't. But that really helps. You got that winning tradition, and then they love playoffs when they get in.
And Chad has a young team up there too that has been getting a little better each week. So hopefully somebody can. Softball wise, let's go with the Blue Jays first. As you mentioned, a 14-4 season, second place in the SCC, and now the pressure really starts because you're coming off that first ever section championship last year.
yes.
And I really feel that you have a section that maybe 5 teams have a legitimate chance at winning it.
Yeah, well, one nice thing about baseball, softball, even if you're not the top dog, with good pitching and the way that ball bounces, and maybe you're having an off day hitting, anything can happen. And early on in these section tournaments, you can get bumped off right away because it's not a double a limb like it was early on. You've got to win the first 2 to keep playing. You lose one of the first 2 and your season's over already. And in our section, Mankato East has now moved to 2A. They were in 3A and a good force in 3A, but now They're in our section. They're the #1 seed. They actually got a #1 seed with a 9-8 record on our side, on the north. And Maple River, they had a 13-3 record. They got a 2, and we had a 13-4 record, and we get the 3. And then on the other side, you're looking at Le Sueur Henderson, who's pretty good over on that side, along with